So today we're going to be going over fundamental skills in basketball, and we're going to focus on three. Those are being passing, dribbling, and shooting. And we're going to revolve these around a beginner trying to learn these fundamental skills and incorporating them into a real game situation. So here we can see a practice layout in which we'll have the warm-up, skill 1 practice, then skill 1 and skill 2 practice, then skill 1, skill 2, and skill 3, and then using a retention and transfer test we will do a scrimmage, then a cool down, and feedback of the skills that they learn. So in the warm-up we're going to have a block style practice, and the three tasks that we're going to do is the first one that you'll see here is that we're going to run lines for approximately 2 minutes. This will help loosen up the muscle and help prevent injury. The second one we're going to do here is we're going to pass off the wall to ourselves, practicing on hand-eye coordination. The third warm-up drill would be shooting the ball as best as you can for a beginner. So this is the practice framework in which we'll be using, and you'll notice that in a beginner you want to have a relatively low practice variability as well as a low CI. This will be accomplished within our practice and skill design, and we will use this to push them to an intermediate level to advance to the next stage. So our first skill is going to be passing, in which we will practice for 15 minutes in a block schedule, making sure that we have a relatively low CI so the learner is able to absorb the most material. Now here you'll notice we're sidestepping along the court while passing the ball in the air, and we're going to vary it up here by now bouncing the pass as we come back, which increases the variation. The third variation of passing is going to be the give and go drill, in which the learner passes to the coach, runs down the court, and then catches the ball again. So the second fundamental skill we'll be teaching a beginner is dribbling. We're going to structure this a little bit differently. We're going to do 10 minutes of block, and we're going to add in 15 minutes of mini block practice. So you'll be doing skill 1 3 times, then skill 2 3 times. And you'll notice here in the practice framework that we're gradually increasing the CI when we add in the mini block. You'll notice that we're going to start off with stationary dribbling on one hand, so we're going to start with the right hand, then transition to the left, and then we are going to cross over using both hands while stationary. The third drill is going to be running across the court while dribbling with the right hand, and then you're going to switch and dribble with the left hand on the way back. The fourth and final drill is going to be running across the court while now dribbling with both hands. So you dribble to your right, then to your left, to your right, and then to your left. So the third and final fundamental skill for a beginner is going to be shooting, in which we'll again do block, mini block, and add in serial this time, in which they are consistently switching the skill, and we're going to be practicing all three skills, so skill 1, 2, and 3 during this practice. By including serial, we have now pushed the learner's contextual interference to more of a low intermediate level, in which we are striving for them to learn new things and learn how to use that with the variation through the drills. So the first drill, we're focusing on the hand position of the ball. You want to have your shooting hand in the middle of and under the ball, while your supporting hand is directly to the side of that, giving you the most optimal shooting position. The second drill is going to be focusing on using that correct hand position, and now you're going to be flicking the wrist to get that ball the correct arc in order to make the basket. The third drill is going to be practicing free throws, and you'll notice that it's a variation of the overall shooting drill, in which you still have to have correct hand position and the flick of the wrist in order to make the shot. So now that the learner has finished their drills and skills allotted in the time, we are going to do a scrimmage in order to assess their actual learning through a retention test. And this is going to be a game-like situation to see how the participant is progressing through the stages of learning the fundamental skills of basketball. So here we're able to see the learner is able to switch hands while dribbling the ball, showing that he is progressing through dribbling as well as shooting. The critical error the learner is making is not applying enough velocity to the ball, and this is corrected through trial and error, in which over time they will correct in order to fix.
And the end results are the more practice characteristics similar to test conditions, such as retention and transfer tests, the better for learning. For example, practicing on a basketball court in a gym is similar to the game environment. Also, playing in a practice game is very similar to a real game. Practice changes from the beginning of practice to the end, starting off with block practice for warm-up and the first skill of passing. We then move into block and mini block during practice in the second skill of dribbling. Lastly, we add serial to the block and mini block schedule from dribbling into the last skill of shooting. We therefore have demonstrated different skills and drills, providing contextual interference and variability in practice. The more variation, the better your performance will be in the game. Our practice is based off a result-dependent practice, meaning that performance dictates your progression. This will indicate to the beginner if different drills need to be created for the next practice session based on how well and efficient your performance was with the drills in this video. We expect our beginners to have learned the fundamental skills involved with basketball in order to prepare them for a real game. And remember, beginner, perfectly designed practices like this makes perfect, so stick with it.